soldier, the counter ghosts or the Russian ghosts, whatever you want to call them.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Chortle Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Jake. With me as always, the Stream King, the Far Cry Guy, the Roguelite Lad, the Double Dog Dad, and the man who guards the galaxy, Steven. What's up, buddy?
The best Krutakin guardian of the Dost Galaxy.
The best Flarkin Krutakian guardian of that Scutton galaxy out there.
Yeah. Piece of Scut Galaxy.
That piece of Scut Galaxy. And that sigh was given by our other guest. He's the god of headshots and our other host. Our other host. The god of headshots and loot. We call him Big Jerm. He's the sickest dude in video games. The god of headshots and loot. We call him Big Jerm, but his name's Jeremy. What's up, Steve? All right, Jeremy.
Oh, wow.
Sorry. I'm so used to saying what's
just
up.
a guest. That's fine.
Jeremy, I'm sorry.
I haven't been here.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Other voice would have been better, but it all messed up. It all went to crap.
You're good.
It all went to Scut. All right, that's all that happened.
It did. Right to Scut it went.
Right to Scut it went. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chortle Cast, the official podcast of Chortle Games, where we talk about video games, TV shows, movies, anime, whatever the heck we want to talk about. We got a great show for you this week. We are gonna quickly, here at the beginning, top of the show, we're gonna talk all about ExtraLife 2021. That's our 24-hour live stream for charity, which we are doing this Friday, ladies and gentlemen, this Friday. So just a heads up, that's coming up. And so we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk, and we're also gonna kind of plan a little bit. We're gonna kind of talk through some of the games that we're thinking about playing and maybe even make some decisions. So if you're live in the chat, feel free to chime in with what you'd like to see and what you'd like to watch. But we're also going to talk all about Guardians of the Galaxy. No spoilers, maybe light spoilers, but I have played up to Chapter 8, which I've been told by Steven is about halfway through the game.
It is literally, by chapter numbers, the halfway point.
It is the halfway point. And Steven just beat the game today. Of course, he's been streaming it on the channel for quite some time now. So he has lots to say about it. I'm going to have a good bit to say about it. And Jeremy's going to be...
You're going to have to censor me. I have so much to say about this game.
We'll censor him.
I have nothing to say.
Jeremy has nothing to say about Guardians. But Jeremy is doing something that neither Steven or I are doing. And as far as I know, are not planning to do. But maybe Jeremy can convince us otherwise. Jeremy bought the expansion pass for Nintendo Switch Online, and so I would like to hear from Jeremy a little bit about that. So we're going to talk about that. Anyway, it's going to be a good podcast. But of course, if you're watching live on YouTube.com, ChortleGames.com, which is our YouTube channel, you are seeing our gameplay. Steven and Jeremy are playing, what's it called? Deep Earth, what?
Keep trying.
Deep Rock Galactic.
Deep Rock Galactic, where you play as like some mining dwarves, and you fight off some alien bugs and all manner of critter as they mine.
You just try to get rich. while trying to survive.
It's very strange, Steven. Your signal is so bad right now. I don't know why. It is so blurry.
That's interesting.
But Jeremy's is crystal clear, and he's sending the lower res version.
Well, let's just
which
watch
is wild.
Jeremy then.
No, I've got us all three. We're all three up here. And then as a beautiful, beautiful contrast to what they're doing, I'm playing Animal Crossing. Where I'm probably just going to wander around my island for a bit, try to pick up some things as I prepare for the update coming this week. So very exciting stuff. That actually may be something. Yeah, it's the 5th. So that might be what I do for my solo time on ExtraLife is I'll be playing Animal Crossing. But anyway, we can talk all about that because we are going to get started right here, right now. So yeah, let's just jump into it. So ExtraLife 2021. That is, of course, the charity where people stream for 24 hours. Lots of people are going to be doing this probably this weekend or in the coming weeks. Some people have probably done this in some way, shape, form, or fashion, for weeks now. But we are going to be doing part of their game day 24-hour live stream starting Friday around 5 o'clock. That's what we're aiming for. That may push to 6. But we'll see. We'll try to do our best to hit 5.
Anything like our previous years, it will be pushed to 6.
Well, but previous years, and this is a fun thing. Previous years we've been together as a group and all in person. But this year, because of my newborn, we're gonna try to do it online, like we are right now. So Steven and Jeremy are both streaming their content to me, and I'm streaming it to you.
Jeremy will be here the whole time.
Jeremy's going to be with us the whole time. That's a plus of doing this online system.
That's the entire pitch for this year.
There was another bonus I was going for there, but I forgot what it was. So a bonus is that we have a higher chance of starting on time because everything is already set up. It is already in place, and we're not building a set from scratch. Cramming and troubleshooting and all that stuff should be able to start pretty simply. But all that to say. This is a charity event. We're raising money to go to Batson Children's Hospital here in Jackson, Mississippi. That's where all the money goes. It goes straight to them. We don't see a dime of it. It all goes through that ExtraLife app. And I suppose I have been told by ExtraLife I can set up a Facebook connection so that people can donate straight through Facebook. So I'm going to explore that because we, of course, also are streaming on Facebook at Chortle Games right now, and will be Friday. So if you're a normal Facebook viewer, you're going to get your normal content like you would. But anyway, all that's where the money's going. We're going to be streaming for 24 hours. We're going to be loopy. We're going to be goopy. It's going to be wild. Jeremy's going to be there the whole time, and just like every year, I think this is our. I want to say 4th year.
That feels right, but I don't know if it is.
I'm really trying to think. I think that lines up. It's either 3rd or 4th year. Anyway, we've done this for a while, and as in our past years, we are going to have rewards. So when you donate, you can pick one of these rewards. We will do it live, and it's usually punishments for us. None of them are for our benefit. They're all for your enjoyment. So we've got rewards such as, so we've got some classic rewards that we're actually going to kind of implement a new system for. So we're going to have what we're calling a wheel of rewards. Okay, this is a new thing, but it has lots of familiar things on it. So for $5, you can spin this wheel, and you will get several rewards that we've had before. One of several rewards. So the first one is do a dab, which is a fun little, we all have to do a dab on camera. Tell a pun. Steven's great at puns, so a pun has to happen right then. Impressions. This has usually been viewers' choice, so I guess if we watch you land it live, you'll have to let us know in the chat what you wanted to do. Sing a random song, which I'm getting so much better at singing because I have to sing to Asher at bedtime, at bath time, all the time. Draw something. This was a really fun one we had last year. There was a wonderful picture done by me and Steven that we drew live and revealed it to you. I should be able to do that again or something similar to that. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, draw something, solve a math problem. This has led to some funny moments before as well. Someone sent us like really complicated math problems. ASMR for 1 minute. And then as like a bonus thing, we're going to have 3 Amazon gift cards on this wheel. And so you can, and I believe they're going to be $15 Amazon gift cards. So you could potentially land on one of those, and you may have only spent $5, but you're getting $15 going to Amazon.
Well, there will only be 1 on the wheel at a time, correct?
Yes.
But there will be up to 3 to be won throughout the entire stream.
Yes, correct. So that's a fun little bonus. Of course, all of these are purchasable.
It's a win-win for you guys.
All of these are purchasable independently, but it's just kind of a fun risk to do the wheel. So that's kind of a new thing. We've got, and then also as an added, this is another, we're doing it online, so there's kind of a bonus here. I always use a green screen. Usually I just put it, it's just the green screen, it's just the background. It's not anything fancy. It's just what I have as our backdrop here. But for the stream, our cameras are going to be on regardless of whose perspective of the game you're watching. So like right now in the setup I have, there's 3 gameplays happening, and you're watching that and you see me. But I'm actually going to have it where you see 1 gameplay, you see me, you see Steven, and then maybe Jeremy. I don't know if we're going to be able to get a face cam for Jeremy. I think we've talked about it maybe, but we'll see where that goes. Anyway, you'll see us both, but we'll have a image behind us because we're both going to have a green screen. And so for $25, you can pick what goes behind our green screen. And so I've lovingly named this Meme Me. And I think it would just be a fun thing to like submit a meme or something to put behind us. Of course, this all has to be safe for work. Nothing obscene, obtuse, nothing crazy.
Good clarification.
But if you want to throw us behind something or something behind us that's funny, we'll do that. So very exciting. Of course, a fan favorite. This one gets done 100 times in the stream. $50 pie to the face. And this is, of course, a shaving cream pie that just goes right to the face. And usually it brings up some great laughs. So there's a one of mine. I think, Steven, how many times did you pie me that time, Steven? I think it was 8.
Something like that.
It was like
a
8
very
in a
large
row.
number.
8, just bam, bam, bam,
Yeah.
pie. And my face and most of my body was just covered. So it's gonna be a fun time. We're gonna continue to do that. This year we're actually gonna be pieing ourselves though, because again we're not in person,
There's a way
but
forward over here.
we will still be doing those. So look forward to that. What's up, Vortex? We're talking
Vortex.
ExtraLife. We're talking ExtraLife. And then of course I also had one for $50. I would eat a jalapeno pepper. All right, I ate a lot of jalapeno peppers last year. Steven refused. Steven refused this one. That's why I've always specified Jake on this one. However, Big Germ, he's here. He's happening.
For the whole time.
The whole time.
I actually love spicy things.
Okay, so it may not be
have
as
fallen. Well, I got a pound of ghost pepper beef jerky
ghost pepper. Very
as
hot.
a gift. Yeah, one of the hottest peppers.
Yeah.
I think it's the 3rd hottest now, but the hottest pepper is a variation of that pepper.
Wow.
So
Jeremy will eat one of those.
yeah, I literally have a pound, and I've eaten like 2 or 3 pieces of it because it's extremely hot.
That is wild. Yes, extremely hot. And then last year we had an overall goal. I feel like this must be the 4th year, Steven, because I feel like there was one year where our overall goal was that people could pick a game that you played all the way through.
Yeah.
And then there was the year after that where we did a goal for shaved heads, and we blew that out of the water. That just exploded.
Yeah.
This year, our goals is very achievable, I think. For every $500 raised, we are going to watch something live. And that's something for those of you that are longtime Chortle Games fans. You've probably heard Steven and I at some point, especially early Chortle Games days, you probably heard Steven and I discuss this thing called The Mask that Steven and I did, which was a superhero TV show kind of thing that we did for
an internet miniseries.
Yeah, an internet miniseries that we did for the church that Steven works with right now for their children's ministry. So it's very campy, it's very cringy, it doesn't make any sense, but God, is it going to be hilarious? Especially
it's a
now.
Fun time.
I don't think I probably have not watched this thing in 5 or 6 years, maybe longer than that.
I revisit it regularly.
Steven has had some look back. So anyway, every $500 raised, we're going to watch one episode of those. I think last count we had, it was 6 episodes, something like that. 5 episodes. So we will watch. We could, if we raise enough, we'll watch all 5 episodes. If nothing else, it's going to be very funny to watch mine and Steven's reaction to it. And especially if you're a longtime fan, and Jeremy's reaction too, for sure. Because Jeremy, have you ever seen these?
No.
Oh man,
I'm so excited.
Oh God, I hate it. I hate it. But no, it'll be very entertaining, I'm sure. So everybody, every 500, we're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch it live. Like we're gonna put it up in one of these. We're gonna put it up just like you're watching gameplay right now, and we're just gonna watch it. And it's gonna be cringy. It's gonna be horrible, but it should bring a lot of laughs. So, and again, every 500, that's a pretty easy thing to jump to. Instead of like 1,000 or whatever we were doing last time. Although I will say that one year I did Jake Gets Makeup Done for 500, or maybe it was 1,000. I don't know. Anyway, we hit it very quickly.
It was 500 because 1,000 was me shaving my head.
That's it. That's what it was. Well, there you go. We these should be pretty attainable, consistently attainable goals. But anyway, that's rewards. And again, all this is going to charity. But we're going to be gaming for 24 hours. So that's the other thing I want to talk about. And that's kind of something we need to figure out a little bit here. We got to have a little bit of discussion about what we're thinking about playing. So I've written some things down that we have, Steven, Jeremy, and we have talked about. And so I've been just chatting a lot. I want to bring you guys into the conversation. Let's kind of talk through what we're thinking about playing. So here's a couple things I wrote down. I wrote down Fall Guys, which can probably be taken out, but I just was writing from top of the dome, writing stuff down.
Fall Guys is, oh wait, no, that's not Human Fall Flat. Yeah, write that out.
Yeah. But I will go ahead and just write in Human Fall Flat.
That's always a winner.
And I'm gonna put - Forest Level that we refuse to play, that we just have not gotten to. Sentinels of the Multiverse, which is the card game that we've played, and we've actually been playing a little bit more of it because we started a special campaign and lots of other stuff. Okay. Kalen jumping in from the live chat on YouTube, chortlegames.com, and he says Battlefield 2042. Is that going to be? Is that out?
No, and I think Jeremy and I have decided that we want nothing to do with that game.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
They made it a battle royale, and I'm not okay with it.
They made it a battle.
Something has me, Steven.
Oh, I'm coming. They originally were going to make it a battle royale, and you can tell, but it's not a battle royale, even though its original design was such. And it's just, it's a bad time. There are good things about it, but if you're going to play a Battlefield game, just get 4.
Yep.
That's just kind of how, and everyone has a grappling hook. They can just go up to where snipers are. It's ridiculous. That's right. Battlefield 24.
Too much Call of Duty in their Battlefield.
I won't write that one down. What's up, Joe? Yes, they are playing Deep Rock. And I'm playing Animal Crossing as a wonderful contrast here. But we're talking about ExtraLife, our 24-hour live stream, charity live stream that we're doing Friday. We're kind of going through some games that we could play. Sentinels of Multiverse, I mentioned that. So we can circle back to that. Guild Wars 2, which is one we just were talking about before the stream. Steven has a crew that would like to do a dungeon. Kat, who's a subscriber and a member of the Discord, has been wanting to do some more Guild Wars, so she's one of the people that'll potentially be in that. So we've talked about that. There's Avengers, which is a game we haven't played in a while, but we do usually enjoy to play.
We enjoy it, but we're waiting.
We're waiting. We're in waiting. We're women in waiting right now. I should be putting like asterisks by the... Do you want me to just delete Avengers, Steven? Do you want to just take it out of the conversation? And if we need to pull something in, we can always have it in our back pocket.
Yeah, I would put it on one of the maybes.
I've removed it.
If we have... Okay, yeah.
Risk of Rain 2. Always a fun one.
Jeremy, you don't have Risk of Rain, do you?
I do not.
You might enjoy that one. But
I believe you would.
Surely there's going to be times where...
Well, here's the thing, too. With the three of us, the games that we typically play are like longer games, right?
Right.
There's several games that we could play for 4 or 5 hours. And sure, this is 24 hours, but those add up pretty quick when you're talking 4 or 5 hour stretches. So anyway, speaking of hours and hours of time, Ghost of Tsushima's Legends, the raid. I put that on here. When I put this on here, we were playing that a lot because of the new content. And then apparently I made it no fun anymore. Steven fully blames me, even though I'm not.
I don't fully blame you, but you're not innocent.
I fully blame the developers.
Thank you, Jeremy. That's what I was
At the end of the day, it is not Jake's fault
that they love my
his
class.
Choice to play that character in class.
No, I'm sorry.
But
it's just it's who I am. All right. If I see a bow, I'm picking up the bow.
Exactly, and that's fine. But they just make that class too overpowered.
You don't blame
100% the programming, not the.
You don't blame the dog for eating the food when it's dangled right in front of their face. You know.
Oh yeah.
You blame the person who's irresponsible enough to do that in the first place.
I don't know if I'm more offended that Steven just called me a dog.
Oh, wow.
You should be offended because you know how I feel about dogs. I treasure dogs.
He loves you, buddy.
This is true. Thank you, Big Jeremy. I feel so loved and appreciated right now. Okay, seriously though, what are y'all thinking about the raid? I know McCoy.
I'm down.
When he was Steven, you might have walked away when he and I talked about it a little bit, but he was just like, man, I saw y'all playing that Ghost of Tsushima Legends. I'm jealous. I want to play too. So he might be down to do it if we want to catch up with him.
I'd be open to finishing the raid.
Okay.
Because I enjoy the game, but only for short bursts now. I can't.
Well, and that's the kicker, right? I recently, with some pugs, played through most of the part 1. I have not touched it since then, and I don't know for sure, but I feel like you have to play. I'm afraid we might have to replay all 3 parts, and maybe that's something I can explore this week to see, can we jump to chapter 3? But with Jeremy, I don't think.
To be honest, I wouldn't be opposed with starting from chapter 1.
Jeremy wasn't there when we did it last year.
Personally, I didn't.
Then let's plan to do that, and that might be one of the. Well, it can't be the first because I'm going to start with you guys, and then I'm going to have to go to bedtime. But then I can potentially go for a long stretch.
But is that what we want to plan to do when you get done doing that? Then
that might be a good call, is to do it at that point.
There, Jeremy. Let's wait for the
but anyway, all right, I'm going to leave that one on there.
Okay.
Now, Steven, we like to play. There's a period, usually a period of time where somebody plays a solo game on stream while the other people take a nap. You, at the time we were discussing this originally, were like, put me down for Guardians for that. But you've beaten Guardians, so I assume that's probably off the table for you. Is that correct?
Yeah, probably pull that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Steven.
Yeah?
You should play Super Metroid.
I'm open to it.
Or A Link to the Past.
I'm open to it.
Depending on which you would prefer. And then I'll, as soon as I get that capture card, I'll start messing with it to make sure that I have it down to send you gameplay for Dread.
I was just about to say,
I'm definitely going to play some Dread on stream.
Okay, Metroid. I'm going to write that down for your solo. Metroid.
I'll either do that or some N64.
All right, I'm putting that down for Germ. Great.
I have played so much of Ocarina of Time already.
Vortex said Doom. Steven, you can finally finish it.
That's true.
In honor of Sir Vortex. And then Kaylin mentions Dark Pictures Anthology, which I don't think any of us have.
We don't.
But it is co-op horror.
I have Man of Medan, but...
Who's talking this thing? You can take 2. I'm going to take 2 as well.
I don't know. I don't think I have either of those. I feel like that would have been one I was looking at. I'm trying to think if any. I don't guess any have come to PS Plus or anything, or Game Pass or anything like that.
There was. I think Man of Medan was PS Plus.
Well, I might have Man of Medan,
but I don't.
I feel like you do have that one, Jake, because we talked about doing that one a while ago.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm just gonna pencil that in here somewhere, since someone suggested it. Since Kaylin suggested it. And Joe says, "Why no Minecraft?" We are
a Minecraft free.
We are Minecraft free.
We're the only
Joe.
gaming channel on YouTube that doesn't indulge in Minecraft. I feel like that's true.
All right. So let me see.
I'll do some Terraria, some Starbound, some 7 Days to Die. Pretty much anything other than Minecraft.
7 Days to Die. Is that one I should put on here?
I think it's a good one for just kind of...
I'd say it's good like filler.
Yeah, it's a good game to just lose hours into.
Yeah.
All right.
To play for a little bit and then play something else.
So,
Jeremy, where'd you go?
I did have for...
I don't know. I was just thinking the same thing.
I did have for my solo game, I had Death's Door.
Map, by the way. Yeah.
But when that got released or announced that it's coming to PlayStation, I pre-ordered it on PlayStation for the trophies. So I'm not going to play that on PC. And it's not coming out in time to do for ExtraLife, so I will not be playing Death's Door. But I will probably do some Animal Crossing, the new Happy Home Paradise Designer or whatever. So that will be my solo. And Steven will leave that up to question. Now,
there are enough PC games where I can find something like I'm trying to get back into Mech Warrior, so I may do Mech Warrior. Did I go backwards?
Kaylin brings up Fortnite. Do we want to play Fortnite? And the answer is...
What do you think?
The answer is no.
There's already...
Yeah, let's go the other way. I think we went backwards. Yeah.
Deathloop. That was one I wrote down. I think it was just kind of...
I could do some Deathloop, yeah.
Well, are you thinking for solo, or do you want to...
I would say that whoever plays it, that's a solo game.
Okay. I'm just going to leave it hanging there. That's all I've gotten written down. Okay. Are there any... Joe said, things that no one says. Hell yeah, Fortnite.
They say, hell yeah, Fortnite. That's what they say.
So we had some trick-or-treaters come by. Only a few. Very small neighborhood. One of them was dressed as a Fortnite character, and it was pretty funny. I could not tell you what Fortnite character. I had no idea. Yeah, I should have said something like that. Do the thing.
Did you ask him why he was dressed like a pussy for Halloween?
No, Steven, I did not ask a 10-year-old child why they were dressed.
I don't know why I said that.
Wow, Steven, that was Steven's rage right there. Just could not contain it. Steven, Jeremy, are there any obvious? Oh dang, we got to play blank. Why didn't we talk about blank
I'm trying to think of something.
Don't you worry about blank.
Oh.
Let me worry about blank.
You know, one I had suggested, and it would require, maybe one or two other people. So I don't know if maybe Krista or Anna would like to join us for something. But there's the new Jackbox Party Pack games.
Oh, we gotta get some Jackbox in there.
Well, I'm going to write
That's a solid
Jackbox
idea.
down. Jackbox 8. Box 8.
I'm gonna look for another passage.
Because that could be fun. Get the chat involved a little bit if they'd like.
Choo Choo Charlie will not be out yet, Kaylin.
Oh, is that
Joe-
horror game?
Yeah, that's the Spider Thomas the Tank Engine ordeal. Joe, no, I'm not playing Lion King on Sega or Superman 64. I know what you're doing. Stop it. Maybe we go up there. But if anyone has suggestions, we would love to hear them. Except for Joe, he just lost his
Joe,
suggestion.
you lost your suggestion privilege. I'm trying to. You know what? We haven't. Back for Blood.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'll write that.
That's
down.
one that again we could sink.
We
a lot
can
of
attempt
hours
to
into
beat it.
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And see, that's kind of that's just kind of the question, right? It's like, do we want to play one game for a long time, or do we want to play a few games for a little bit of time? So, anyway, we'll do that. Joe said, "Wow, okay, could make some fun rage compilation content. We usually do. That
We get
usually
that anyway.
happens.
We
I'm
don't
pretty
need-
sure. I'm pretty sure
We
the
don't need Lion
raid.
King to make that
If
happen.
if
If
you
we're
go
doing
back,
a raid, we're gonna.
probably
Yeah.
We do a raid
10
many
10
times.
podcasts, 11 podcasts.
Yeah.
When I like screamed at Jake because he said
Destiny on
that
Switch?
Destiny on Switch.
Yeah, that was an unexpected rage moment that I'll never forget.
I wasn't expecting it either. Jesus, I couldn't even say.
Shoot,
I've
back up.
never seen Jeremy get that angry, but he was so furious at me. And like I feel like part of me, we all know. Well, I don't know if we all know this, but I know this. I like to egg on Steven a little bit. All right, I do get a little bit of pleasure when Steven just gets a little frustrated. So sometimes it's fun to just push that line. You know what I mean? I wasn't expecting it from Jeremy, so it kind of took me a minute, but I eventually was like, I'm going to double down on this because this may never happen again. I've got to buckle in and get this. So, do you have any in real life games outside of console? I think we'd be open to that. Again, the problem is we're going to be all online.
Yeah.
So
Uno's on Game Pass.
well, I was just about to say. I mean, I do think at one point, Steven, you had talked to me about some Steam
Tabletop Simulator.
That's what it was. That has a workshop that has like all kind of games. So like, we could potentially do something else, tabletop but it would be digitally. It would be a digital tabletop. But I'm open to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Joe's talking about that too.
Yeah.
We could do some stuff like that. So
I've always wanted to try Tabletop Simulator, but I've just never done it.
I forget if
There's stuff there.
when you told me about it, I forget if I bought it straight away or if I just looked at it or what. But I'm open to something like that. We'll write it out. We'll feel it out.
Yeah.
I do think Steven and Jeremy that you guys should have in your back pocket something you could play without me. Not necessarily because I'm planning to leave you at any point, but if I have to leave for an extended period of time to assist with Asher, y'all may just want to have something in your back pocket that y'all know I either don't have or don't like. So whatever. But
That's the plan. We've got no shortage of games that he and I can play.
yeah. Well, again, Extra Life starting 5:00 ish this coming Friday, going for 24 hours. So we'll be ending Saturday around 5:00. If we get a late start, say we start at 6:00, we're gonna go till 6:00. So you're not missing out on anything. And actually, if you want to go ahead and kind of just get an idea of what the donation process looks like, maybe you want to go ahead and throw in a donation that we just will be waiting for us when we get there. You can always go to chortlegamesextralife.com. And yes, if you type that out, there's a disturbing Easter egg that I did not intend to be in that combination of words. So,
you talking about ExtraLife?
ExtraLife, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not intended, but it happened. So anyway, yeah, Kaylin, here, you know what, Kaylin, you're a genius. I'm just going to type it in. I'm going to type it in here. So, Chortle Games,
Checking the map at the edges to see if there's
ExtraLife.com.
an opening on the other side.
Just put it in the chat.
We need one
and
more
actually, I'm
tab.
going to click on it too to make sure that it works. It does. Looky there.
We need a bunch more card as well.
So proud. So proud it works. Anyway, so feel free to do that. Just if you want to look at it, get an idea of what you're looking at there. But anyway, enough about ExtraLife. We're very excited. Hope you guys will tune in to be a part of. But enough about that. Steven, let's talk about the Flarkin Guardians of the Galaxy.
Sorry, that was actually terribly timed.
No, it wasn't, Jeremy. No, it wasn't. So, Guardians of the Galaxy came out, Tuesday. This past Tuesday? Has it really been?
Yep.
Wow. We've had one weekend with it. But what a weekend it's been. Of course, this is the game from Square Enix, Eidos Montreal. People
behind Deus Ex.
People behind Deus Ex. Their Guardians of the Galaxy game, very different from the Avengers game that Square Enix is also doing. Meaning no multiplayer. It is I forget what one reviewer called it. A no frills, no fuss, single player.
It's just a good old video game.
It's just a good old video game, Steven. That's a great way to put it. Steven, like I said earlier, Steven's beaten the game. I'm 8 chapters in. Let me go first, Steven. I just want to, just off the top of my dome, I think I like this more than Avengers.
Okay.
But they're very different games, right?
Of course.
I like that Avengers, we're going to go back to it. You know what I mean? There's going to be a new hero. There's going to be something else that I'm going to keep coming back to that game. But like you said, this is just a good old-fashioned video game. This has been so fun to just play. I'm going through it. The story is fantastic, and I know Steven is going to really get into the story. The story is fantastic. I enjoy the gameplay loop, like the combat. I've really enjoyed it quite a bit. I personally have surprisingly found a lot of enjoyment in the walking sim nature of the game.
Oh yeah.
And what I mean by that is there's several times where either A, you're just in the Milano, which is their ship, and you can wander around. Everybody's got a room. There's a couple secret areas and stuff. There's lots of things to interact with that prompt story beats or some kind of side story conversations, which I've thoroughly enjoyed. I just got out of Nowhere, which is a famous location in the Star Wars, Marvel comics, cosmic comics.
Did you say Star Wars?
Did I say Star Wars? I meant Marvel. I had a lot of words coming out of my mouth just then. So anyway, but you get to walk around Nowhere, and there's like lots of little things that you can do that some do affect the story, some don't matter. Anyway, just lots of fun. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed that. And
Fallen Jedi is a good comparison in a lot of ways.
Yes. Because you know, but with that game, you could go back to different planets and just kind of wander around. I don't think you can do that with Guardians.
You cannot.
Yeah, you can replay chapters. There is a chapter select, but there's not just like, oh, I want to go back to Nowhere and just wander around. You know.
Yeah, it is completely linear.
Yes, absolutely. But anyway, again, combat, I've enjoyed it. I like the loop. I definitely think there's a lot going on, and there's a couple buttons. I wish there was some button remapping, because there's a couple buttons that I struggle with. But Steven, you've beaten it. Don't want to get into spoilers here, folks, but Steven, what do you think about it? Go. Just unleash.
So you guys know how I hate everything, and I'm super critical.
What?
Right? Big shock. So it takes a lot to get me to say that something just absolutely nails it, because I tend to play devil's advocate when it comes to things that people like, because I'm one of the people that's just like, nothing is, or very few things are truly perfect. So let's look at what something does poorly. So I do have that often mindset of being a critical person when it comes to games, movies, TV shows, all that jazz. So I just seem like I suck the fun and life out of everything. My favorite comic run in terms of like, oh shoot, didn't mean to do that. My favorite comic book series is Guardians of the Galaxy from 2008. The 2008 run, post Annihilation Conquest, when we got the modern Guardians of the Galaxy, like as we know them today, essentially. I love Star-Lord. He is my favorite comic book character. So I'm going into this game, I'm invested already. You know, like I have expectations. So, you know, I need to be impressed. And I was worried a little bit when people were talking about the game, saying how like Star-Lord feels like he's not very powerful and that you need the team, which I don't really feel that. Like, obviously the team is very important, and like that's where you get all of your damage and stuff from, but Star-Lord can still do a lot of damage. Jeremy, you're dying.
Yeah, there's that one ability, I forget what it's called. It's like the hailstorm or something like that, where you basically you've got like dual pit. No, not that one. Although I do think that one is actually called Hail of the Storm or something like that.
You're talking about Fan the Hammer.
Fan the Hammer, dual pistols, full auto, just a wall of bullets hitting something. Yeah. That does some pretty good damage, and it's a pretty good move to pull out. But yeah, to Steven's point, Star-Lord is definitely not overpowered at all in this game.
Right. Jeremy, is there a timer on how long you'll be down? Just trying to figure out if I need to dig all the way to you.
No, you're good.
So there's no timer?
No.
Okay, cool. I'm on my way.
So go ahead. Sorry.
So, you're fine. So the gameplay is good. I think that we were all bummed, and that includes me. We were all bummed when it was revealed that it was not co-op at all. Because when you get a team superhero game, your first inclination is awesome. I can't wait to play this with my friends. Mm-hmm. But that didn't hurt me too bad. I was disappointed a little bit, but it didn't hurt me too bad because you're Star-Lord. Right. There's a dedicated game that is just like, hey, let's just make a game that simulates what it's like to be Star-Lord, the leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, the game's called Guardians of the Galaxy, not Star-Lord of the Galaxy.
You're correct.
See, and Steven, I know this is where you're going, so I'm hoping I'm just transitioning for you here. What's so funny about that is that we, like Steven said, we were all, Jeremy especially, but we were all a little disappointed when we heard that. Because me personally, I just wanted to be able to play as the other Guardians. I didn't even care necessarily that it was multiplayer. I just wanted to play as the other Guardians. Even though you're directly controlling Star-Lord, it feels like you're the whole team. Like, at no point did I think or wish like, oh man, I wish I could switch to Rocket. I wish I could switch to Groot. I'm playing Rocket and Groot at the same time that I'm playing Star-Lord and Gamora and Drax. And all the, you know, it's a lot happening at once. So I was not disappointed by that at all.
In terms of the story as well, it absolutely feels like it's not Star-Lord of the Galaxy. Star-Lord is the main focus, but in terms of he is the driving force to get the characters through their big challenges. Like he's the glue that's trying to hold everything together. Mm-hmm. He obviously has his own arcs, but everybody has really important story in this game. Even the side characters. Oh my gosh. You get a lot from Cosmo. You get a lot from Mantis. Mantis is almost a main character, and she's great because she's not insanely depowered and nerfed like she was in the films.
See, that's wild because I just met her a while back, and I honestly thought it was just a one-off thing. Like I was like, oh, well, there's Mantis. I guess I won't see her again.
Yeah, she is a big player.
Okay, great.
And it does such a great job of balancing the narrative to where you see everything happen through the eyes of Star-Lord, and you choose how he responds to situations. But the story is ultimately the team and trying to hold the team together. Because it's like...
Jeremy, hang on. I'm sorry, Jeremy.
And
Jeremy,
the game...
Did you just get on your Switch since you're down?
What?
I'm almost there. I'm digging as fast as I can.
Jeremy, you remember that I'm playing a Switch right now, and my view is on screen. So literally, if anybody was watching, an eagle-eyed viewer could have seen the little pop that just said Jeremy's online on your Switch.
I am not playing Ocarina of Time right now.
Well, you're getting up, so get up.
Oh man. All right, I'm sorry. I did call you out like that, Jeremy. It was just too funny.
No, it was. I kind of thought you would, and I just kind of laughed and was just like, oh well.
When you're ready, follow me. I'm waiting at the entrance for you. But it's like, and the game communicates this well in the first scene, because Peter, the first scene, you're Peter as a kid, and his room is just a great way of communicating who is Peter.
Right.
And one of the things in his room is a set of, oh my God, the freaking mining thing. But it's a set of 20-sided die, like D&D die, basically. And he says, man, I rolled 2 1s, some bard I turned out to be. And that's just such a Peter thing to not only say, but it also is a great way to kind of clarify. You're playing as the bard in a D&D party. So the important part is not necessarily you. The important part is you getting everyone else through it. So it does a really good job of not only making that engaging gameplay, but also not losing that sense of Star-Lord is nothing without the people that he leads.
Right.
From a gameplay standpoint, from a story standpoint, just all of it. So that's well done. Like I said, I'm a big fan of the Post-Annihilation Conquest Guardians. I prefer them to the MCU Guardians, hands down. But this feels like, if I'm not mistaken, one of the head writers for that run worked on this game, and you can totally tell. It feels like a love letter to that era, with all of the good things that the MCU did to update the characters. So it's like the best of both worlds, which is great. I forgot where I was going.
Well, since you were derailed, can I ask a question?
Yes. Please.
Is there any Guardian that you just are annoyed with in your time?
Not at all. I was annoyed with Rocket for a while, and you're probably annoyed with him right now.
Yep, I'm annoyed with Rocket.
That goes away 100%.
Okay, cool. Well, see, I've heard from a lot of other people who, I've listened to talk about the game and everything. They've all said, like, oh, well, I just hated Rocket. Like, Rocket just was driving me crazy the whole game. And so I was determined to not...
Get on his good side?
Yeah, to get on his good side. And I feel like I did a lot to do that.
But it didn't help.
And then, yes, at the point I'm at in the game right now,
we did the same thing.
Did not help. He is just pissed off at me and will not. And it's kind of funny because Star-Lord in my game is at the point where he's just like, dude, like, I get that you're mad at me, but like, come on. So it's it's rough. Anyway, sorry.
That goes away, and honestly, it would feel wrong if he wasn't insufferable for a long time.
Yeah.
Because that's Rocket.
Yeah.
He has a lot of trauma from where he comes from. He doesn't trust people for good reason. And he is used to being the smartest person in the room and the only one that's willing to help himself, or that's willing to help him. That's just what he's lived. That's who he is.
Yeah.
And so I think, like, for a while I was worried that it was going to be like, man, the branching decisions and stuff really doesn't matter because Rocket just will not get over it, even though I've really been trying to be on his side. But that does go away, and you do realize that the decisions are actually pretty important in some creative ways.
Real quickly, so Kaylin is asking, is Aisha the Golden High Priestess or the Sovereign in it?
No Sovereign.
No Sovereign.
But there is a gold person.
There is a gold person. And then he also wants to know if Rocket's chin hair is comic canonical.
No.
I hate the chin beard.
But that's...
I hate the chin beard.
I love the chin beard because I have a Dachshund Terrier that also has a chin beard, and I love everything about it.
Okay.
And so it's like Rocket has a little bit of Minnie, you know?
It's like coming home.
She has a chin beard.
It's like coming home.
One day I hope to have her cosplay as Rocket the Raccoon and braid her chin beard that way.
I love it. And then Vortex is asking, is Guardians like Telltale or something? And I'll answer that. It is, funnily enough to me, it seems like it's the better version of what Telltale tried to do.
It's Telltale with gameplay.
It's Telltale with gameplay. Yeah, that's exactly it. And fun gameplay at that. But yeah, it's focused on story. There are choices, and those choices have consequences. So yes, in a way.
Yeah, and it's difficult to discuss the story of this game without spoilers, and so I'm trying to avoid that. But I, being a fan of a very specific run of Guardians, and having to sit through, that makes it sound like it was unpleasant, but having to basically accept that the MCU Guardians are not those Guardians. And for me to be able to say that this feels like the best we've ever seen them, that's saying something.
Yeah.
Because it really does take the best of every version we've got, and it gives us something different. Sometimes they can be annoying and they can talk too much. Gamora's a little weird in this game because she says puns. Like, she says knife to meet you when she uses her abilities sometimes. That's weird. But it's kind of like the same with Nolan North as Tony Stark, the Muse on the Move. We need to keep up with it. In Avengers, when Tony Stark is like doing story scenes, he's fantastic. It's Nolan North. He's great.
Right.
But in the combat dialogue, it's like, hey, you're not Deadpool. Stop it. But like they do a great job with Gamora in the story.
Yeah.
You understand why she is the way she is. And they just do a really good job with it. Drax was an unexpected emotional center.
Yeah.
I love what they did with Drax.
Yeah.
But they carried over his awkwardness that Batista brought to the role, whereas the Batista version of Drax was a joke. Like, literally, he was just a punchline with muscles.
Right.
But this version said, hey, why don't we make it so that he is someone who is very matter-of-fact, doesn't understand sarcasm, talks about honor and all that kind of stuff like a true warrior, but why don't we just actually also make him one of the most badass people in the galaxy? Because in this timeline, he went toe-to-toe with Thanos and is allegedly the one that won.
Yeah.
And you believe that with this version because he is portrayed appropriately. Like, it just, like I said, it does the best of every version that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, we all know with the Guardians, you're going to get the humor and everything. And to me,
there's a lot of humor and there's a lot of talking. I like how much dialogue. Like, there is never a quiet moment.
Right.
There is always dialogue happening.
That's very much them.
Yes.
There is a ton of humor. Some of it is immature, but you know, that's like it's the Guardians. That's just none of it's like Drax saying I have infamously large turds. It's not that, you know. But there is some of that goofy humor. But the impressive thing, like, to me, you can pick a tone as a writer, and you can say, I'm going to make the audience feel this way. Thinking of something like Borderlands 3 compared to The Last of Us Part 2. Both of those games had a very specific tone. They knew what they wanted you to feel. Borderlands was just like, we're just going to make you laugh at jokes that you made when you were 12 years old. Like it just tried to be lighthearted. Last of Us 2 wanted to make you hate humanity. But they targeted that tone and they pursued it. What's really impressive to me, and I've come to learn about myself that I really do admire and appreciate this, is when something can say, we're going to teeter between different tones, but make it totally believable and make you feel both sides of the spectrum as effectively as each other. So like Guardians, I've laughed at Guardians a lot. It's been very emotional. There have been moments where it's like, dang, like chills.
Yeah.
It balances that so well. And the Guardians, just as a team, cater to that super well. And this game understands that and it takes advantage of that. And I love that. Again, it shows an understanding of the team. And I remember something I was going to say earlier, and I've probably said this before, but looking at this as a single player game, a lot of people were bummed out. But once you play it, you kind of get it that this would not work with any other team, which is why they did this.
Right. It
is very true to how the Guardians operate from a story standpoint, from a gameplay standpoint, because you're the weakest guy in the room trying to rein in a bunch of personalities. Mm-hmm. You're the bard. Mm-hmm. And it's a very unique style of game that, even though, yeah, I am bummed that we don't have co-op, and I really hope that with the next entry that we get co-op, I think that this was a very necessary experiment that really did pay off if that's your thing. And it was definitely my thing. This game was catered to me specifically.
I was about to say, this of all the games this year, this was one that literally had Steven's name all over it.
It felt like it was like hand wrapped for me, and it was just very sweet of them to do that for me. But yeah, the gameplay is better than I thought it would be. The soundtrack is phenomenal. I don't remember any specific use of alcohol. But some things I will say, just because, again, like I said, I try to be that person that says there is no truly perfect thing, so let's look at what it doesn't do well. There are some things, like the team huddle. I like it in concept.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
And I would, if you don't mind, I'd like to take over for a second.
Take over.
The team huddle. So basically there's this mechanic where it's kind of like the ultimate move, all right? You press L1 and R1, which I just want to say is already a weird choice for me, because you use R1 and you use L1, and it would be very easy to accidentally hit both. I haven't done it yet, but it could be an issue.
I did it once.
Anyway, you hit that, game stops. I almost said Steven. Star-Lord literally says, guys, huddle up. And you go to this like kind of rainbow area that's just space.
You're just in a like a void.
You're in a non-contextual void. The team fades up, runs to you, and they're back. And they complain. They'll say, and that makes it sound worse than it is. But they're like, yo, man, we're really getting our asses kicked out there. Like, I'm terrified of losing. They're laughing at us, and like the words like laughing at us or I'm scared of losing like will be floating behind them. Okay, and then you'll have two choices of responses, and usually it says like, we'll laugh at them and make them fear us. And like, that's a very specific, like, okay, that's the answer because the floating, is behind it. Or it could be like, well, guys, we eat potato chips and potato chips are good and we're going to win. And like, that's your other speech.
Like, there was one for me where they were just like, yeah, let us go back in there. We're kicking butt. My blade will ring with the sounds of their deaths. Like, they're just pumped up. Like, we were winning, and it was like, okay, let's do a pump up speech. And so my option in dialogue was like, yeah, let's keep kicking their butts or whatever. Like, it was just something that sounded like it would support that. And then Star-Lord says, guys, I know you're scared. And it was like, no. That's not what I was going for. And I think like Rocket was even like, what?
So anyway, if you pick the right answer, everybody gets a buff. I think for a short period of time, you can just like spam everybody's attacks. That revives all team members, heals all team members, and it's a great buff. If you get the wrong one, Star-Lord's the only one with those effects. Anyway, really cool mechanic in concept. And I'll be honest with you, the first time it happened, once Star-Lord was giving his speech, I got pumped because the music kind of raises. And then this is the other thing. Once they say, okay, yeah, let's get back out there, let's go. Like Star-Lord hits play on some music. And so like, you know, we will rock you, like whatever. There's all this like, what is it, 70s, 80s rock? I don't know.
It's an insane number of 80s songs. Like it's every song that you associate the 80s with is
it's
in
the
this
final
soundtrack.
countdown.
They paid for the licensing for all of the music.
And so when that music is playing, and it does slap, Kalen.
I'm going to talk about the soundtrack more in a second.
When that music is playing, it's super cool. It's super exciting. So here's my thing. I haven't used it a ton because I've only had a couple situations. I am the type of person, and you guys watching me play games have probably realized this about me. I don't use that ultimate move unless it is a last-ditch effort. Like,
right.
I hold that in my back pocket to a detriment. And I do that with everything. I do that with supers. It's just, I need to learn, hey, you got it? Just use it. Let's use it. Let's have fun. But anyway, really, really fun. My one complaint about it, and I'm sure this would be kind of hard to do, but they've had so much impressively varied. We talked about earlier how they're always talking.
Yep.
It's rarely the same line twice. Like some combat lines, like Steven, you mentioned the knife to meet you. Some combat lines are repetitive. But when you're wandering around, it's pretty much, they might talk about the same thing over and over, but it's typically either a different character referencing it or they're saying a slightly different line. They even comment on when you wander off, if you go exploring. They comment on that. So they've had very specified moments of like, what's the player doing right now? Let's talk about that. Let's whatever. I wish that the huddle was more contextual. Like, I wish that it would show you the fight that you're in. And I wish
not freeze time and give you like a Saved by the Bell moment where you're talking to the camera.
Yeah. And then I wish also that it would, like whatever the Guardians say to you was more relevant. Like, and this is
usually
my case in point here. The very first one, and I think this is how it is for everybody, because I've seen people getting rickrolled on this one. That's been a funny. They had a promotional bit about that. But the very first one you ever do, if you get it wrong, the song that plays is the rickroll song.
That's what happened to me.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, that's hilarious. Anyway, that dialogue, Drax is like, Peter Quill, they're laughing at us out there, like they're making fun of us out there. They think we're a joke. We're fighting monsters. Like nobody is laughing out there. And so that kind of took me out of the moment. But once the speech got going, once the music kind of started to the whoa,
does the same music during the huddle every single time.
But it gets me pumped, dude. Like I almost wish that song would play than some of the soundtrack. But anyway, the huddle is great in concept. I hope in a sequel they improve it because I don't want it to go away. I really like the concept. I just wish it had been executed a little bit better. But I don't know how.
My thing is that like you were saying, I wish they would make it to where it happened in some way real time.
Right.
But my big thing with the team huddle is, one, the dialogue options need to make more sense because it gives you the clues to say what you are supposed to say, but sometimes Star-Lord doesn't say what you think that he's going to say by selecting the option. So that's frustrating. But my biggest thing with it, just let me pick the song. Let me pick the song that I'm coming out with. Give me 3 options. Anything. Because if I'm fighting a bunch of Yetis, I don't want Jitterbug to come on. I'm sorry, Jitterbug's a great track, but I never, in any of my team huddles, never got an 80s rock song. Once. I got one. The rest of them were just like 80s pop. Nothing against those.
Right.
But I'm the kind of guy that the rock music gets me pumped up.
Right.
Give me some choices.
Yeah. That would be nice. There was something I was going to say about that, but I've
that being said, if you think of it, let me know. That being said, the soundtrack, as in the like orchestral score and the rock album that they made specifically for this game, which they put way more effort into it than they had to. It's amazing. I have been jamming out to this album. It's called Space Riders. The band is called Star-Lord. It's like a 9-track album, and all of the songs are good. And I wish they utilized those tracks more than they do in the game, because surprisingly, like in gameplay moments, they really don't. The most you get from those songs actually being played is in his flashbacks. So I would like to hear more from those songs in actual gameplay moments, like in the combat and stuff. But it has a good orchestral score too. That hits all the right notes when it needs to, like emotionally. I don't have a working way to play music from my truck speakers, so I listen to headphones, little earbuds when I drive, which I know you're not supposed to, but I do it anyway.
I didn't know you weren't supposed to, but I guess it makes sense.
Well, I mean, it's dangerous to lose one of your senses when driving, but mine has. It lets noise in well because it's got like the noise isolation deal.
Right.
So
right.
But whatever. Yeah, I love the music. It's great. Which brings me to my well. I was trying to think of what else I was going to say, because there are some things that I would change about it, but
I mentioned button controls. I hate that.
Mapping.
I hate that you have to press L3, which is basically click in the control stick to access Star-Lord's.
I knew that was
abilities.
That was what you meant when you said button mapping, because I always thought that was weird.
If you were to ask me, oh well, Jake, where would you like to put it? I don't know, because you're
it's
using
a very busy control scheme.
You are using every other button. I mean, you press L1 to open up, to lock onto an enemy, and it gives you who do you want to attack him. Okay, you hit who you want to attack, and then you select from 4 options what you want them to do to them, and so that there's a lot going on. And then you're shooting with R2 and R1. Like, even you have a charge shot. To do the charge shot, you have to double click R2. I still can't get it to work. I bought, it was one of the first things I bought. Still haven't gotten it to work. It's a trophy. I got to figure it out at some point. It's rough. Even R3, Kalen I think would be better than L3. But
well, R3 is your visor.
Oh dang, Steven, you're right.
Yep. Everything is used.
And so this is one of the other things that annoys me about that, just to kind of go off on that. I can't tell you how many times I've tried to sprint and I accidentally pull up Star-Lord's menu, and you cannot do anything when his menu is pulled up. You can move, but you can't do anything else. So like, if you didn't mean to open that menu up and you're trying to punch or shoot somebody, you're screwed. Because until you think, oh, let me hit that button again, which you can make it where you have to hold it, and I maybe should have done that.
That's what I did. I tried toggle, and I was like, nope. So I went back to where to execute team callouts and Star-Lord abilities, you have to hold it.
Yeah, and maybe I should have done that, but anyway. But yeah, that's one of my pet peeves. And then again, the combat and the gameplay is good. It could be better.
Yes.
Another thing that I kind of frustrates me a little bit, and I think there is a way to do this. I'm just not very good at it. and Steven, you might can clear this up for me. I struggle with selecting the enemy that I want to select. Which there are some moves
Are you constantly using L2?
L2 is lock on, right?
Yes.
Well, I feel like when you press L1, it locks onto an enemy as well, right?
So the better sequence, or what's given me success with that, is I make sure that I'm locked onto the enemy that I want to target for an ability before I use L1.
Gotcha. Okay.
That way you can just kind of press the button that you like. You don't even have to really think about, okay, am I targeting the right guy? You can just remember the button sequence and then press it.
Okay. I need to try and get in that loop then. But it's I've had struggles with that, but
nothing innovative with haptic feedback.
yeah,
but
I mean
it's
it's fine. It's fine.
It does use it for the active reload.
Have you said everything you wanted to say about story, Steven, or was there anything else that you wanted to?
Pretty much. I know I'm just waiting to talk story with someone
when we can be spoilery.
Yes, because I was not expecting the game to include people that it included or go places that it goes. And it automatically just made me want more from the Guardians in general.
Yeah.
Because it just reminded me how rich the lore and the universe is. And how they're such a great catalyst for the entire cosmic realm of Marvel.
Steven went back and started to read some new Guardian.
Absolutely. Well, I'm reading the entire catalog of Guardians comic books, starting with Annihilation, which was actually pre-Guardians because it's Annihilation and Annihilation Conquest. But I'm reading through those through the Marvel Unlimited app because I need more Guardians. Because this game just got me so reinvested in them as characters.
Yeah.
But I've got final thoughts. So if you have any other questions or anything, go ahead.
I'm trying to think. I asked you about your character that you didn't, any characters you didn't like.
Have you met Lipless?
I did. That was a really fun sequence.
Did you salvage your friendship with him?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's good.
Yeah. Well, so here's the thing, Steven, and this was one thing I did want to say. There's lots to praise about this game. I think easily the story is its best characteristic.
Absolutely.
But there's lots of good happening. One
yeah.
very me now thing that is good is it's a very easy platinum, very, very smooth platinum. Like 80, maybe 70% of the trophies are just story beats that you just pop. You know, you play the game, you're gonna get the trophies. And there's only one or two that can catch you off guard if you don't do a certain thing. One that I've been very cautious about is at a certain point you get a fine, and at a certain point you're gonna have to pay back that fine. You don't have to pay back the fine. You can just, I assume you can not, and there's consequences for that, I'm sure.
You want to hear a funny story about that?
Well, so let me finish. One of the trophies is to pay that fine. So
right.
If you don't do that, then you might have to you'd have to replay through the game to get to that point to make that decision.
Yeah, I didn't get to pay the fine.
That's fine.
But it's funny how that happened.
I'd love to hear it, Steven. Let me. What is it?
Yeah. Oh, now?
Yes.
Okay.
That's pretty much all. I mean, that's all I had to say. Just easy platinum if you're somebody who cares about that.
I was sure to save the money that I needed to pay my fine. I spent some money on Nowhere just to try to, learn more about the characters. Like I got Gamora the doll.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I had just enough, and I was like, all right, I'm done spending money. And then I saw these kids.
You didn't know about the kids.
I didn't know about the kids.
Yep.
but I mean, I didn't know anything about this game.
Well, and so I'll be honest, that got spoiled for me because I listened to some people talk about it on a podcast, and they were just they didn't even say kids. They didn't say nowhere. They just said, "Oh, that was really funny about the pickpocket." And I said, "There's a freaking pickpocket out here." So I'll tell you, Steven, I don't even know where the kids are. I don't know who the kids are. When I first walked into nowhere, hang on, let me finish this. When I first walked into nowhere, a small child ran up to me and raised their hand, and I literally just said, "No, away from me! I got to keep these credits. Get away from me." Anyway, sorry. Okay, finish.
It's these 3 kids. They're like doing like a Mexican standoff kind of thing where they're pointing their fingers at each other like they're gonna start shooting. And I went up to interact with them because Star-Lord's a cool guy, so I wanted him to see like how he interacted with these kids, see if he like just had fun with them or whatever. And he does, because he like starts shooting and he's like, "Ah, you got me," and it was really funny. And then they run past you and they take 700 credits from you.
Ooh.
And that dropped me below the threshold of being able to pay the fine.
So there's at least one way to make 1,000 credits in nowhere. Did you happen to do that?
I made some credits through the cup game.
Yep. Okay. That's it.
But I played one round because I didn't want to get swindled by a robot. It was like, "Oh yes, you won credits."
That's the trick. That's the trick. You play the one game and you walk away and you get it. But I don't think there's any other ways. I foolishly, I also went and got the doll for Gamora because that's a collectible and it's part of a trophy. And then I went and made $1,000 and I felt really good about myself. And I had plenty of money, but then, and I had plenty of money. So I was like, I don't think there's anything else that's trophy bound, but you know what? Let's have a little fun. What could we do here? And so I kind of read through like some things to do in nowhere.
No Vortex, you can't. I never saw those kids again, but I wanted to find them.
There's a really cool cutscene with Drax that you can go do. And then there's a food vendor, and I was told, or I read that there's 4 food items. If you buy them all, there's some funny conversation that happens. So I went and I was like, I have just enough to do this. So I had 2 items, and then I was $1,000 1,000 credits away. I had a 1,000 credit hedge, and I said, what if there's something coming that I don't know about that I'm gonna have to pay for? And I thought, dang it, why did I buy 2 of these food items? So I just walked away, and I'm hoping for the best that somebody cuts me a discount or no one takes money from me. But we'll see what comes from it.
Yeah.
Anyway, give your closing thoughts on it, Steven. I really am enjoying it.
I mean, I'm going to do a new game plus, and that's not because I want platinum it, because I just don't care.
Right.
I'm doing a new game plus for it because I want to see what the different options are, and I just wanted to play it more.
Right.
And that's rare for me to say a game like this that I just need to go back in. And so that's telling enough, I think. Mm-hmm. But the game itself, it's one of those that, like, I can't recommend it to everybody. I want to, because the devs deserve every bit of money for them to commit as much as they did, because this game had to have been so expensive to make.
You think?
Because it's gorgeous. Like, it is a pretty game. They had to license all that music. They created a full-length album and a orchestral score. It's a quality product. Mm-hmm. And there is nothing beyond the initial purchase that is going to get their money, like, get more money from this game. Like, it is not a monetizable game.
There's no DLC coming. There's nothing planned.
It's so refreshing.
It's just done.
And when I say I want them to have all the money, that's kind of why, is because you never hear about games like that anymore, really, that are just like, we really want to do this thing, and we're going to put every ounce of effort and money that it takes to do it. And when I say you don't hear about that often, let me clarify, you don't hear about that often from third party.
Right.
PlayStation arguably does that all the time, but they've got first party backing.
Yeah.
But you don't see that happen anymore from just a third party like Square Enix and Eidos Montreal. And I want them to succeed with this product. I want more from them, not only for Guardians, but also just Marvel in general, because they absolutely nailed it. It's as it stands right now, it's my game of the year, and I don't think there's any contest.
Yeah, I almost suggested for this podcast that we kind of talk about what are we thinking for game of the year, but I feel like we're so close to that actual conversation, it wouldn't be worth it. But this is definitely going to be a contender. I mean, I think it could potentially be. I almost said a real contender, and I don't mean that how it sounds, but like I feel like it could be nominated at the Game Awards even. To go up for Game of the Year.
I mean, I know that the Game Awards are an absolute sham and they mean nothing. But for some reason, it's important for accolades' sake. And this game deserves the accolades.
Yeah.
Because...
And there are other places that can give it accolades and probably will give it lots of accolades. But it just deserves something.
They put their best foot forward, and they didn't compromise their vision, and it cost them a lot of sales, because they could have easily had studio interference that said, make it a co-op game, it needs co-op, otherwise it's not going to sell enough products. They could have done that, and a lot of people would be happy, but they stuck to their vision, and regardless of that, which again, I was bummed out about that, a lot of people were, and a lot of people aren't buying the game because of that. But I respect them for sticking to that, because they had a vision for what they saw this game to be, and they stuck to it. And it worked. I think it absolutely paid off. Caleb, let's not start that now.
Let's not start wars here. I agree, Steven. It's very well done, and it deserves a lot of recognition for that. So, Jeremy, are you still there?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm so sorry that went so long.
It's okay.
But how do you feel, Jeremy? Do you any better about Guardians of the Galaxy, or are you still a no for you?
It's to save Steven's feelings. It's still a no. I won't say anything else.
There you go.
You can say whatever you want.
No,
It won't hurt my feelings.
that's fine.
No, I want to hear what you think.
I have no interest in it. That's all.
And that's okay. Like I said, it's very niche, but I just respect that they stuck to it. They stuck to their guns.
And that was something we talked
paid off
about.
for me.
That was something we talked about when they first announced it, and we were kind of and again to that conversation of why is it like, wow, we can't believe this doesn't have a co-op. The thing that also surprised us was how quickly it was coming out. Do you remember, Stephen, that they announced it with a release date, and it's the release
and
date
it didn't move.
That it didn't move. It didn't get delayed. Like, when is the last time that's happened? You know what I mean? Like, that's a feat in and of itself. So
When's the last time somebody released a single player game that they had no plans to update?
Yeah,
It's very true.
Yeah.
Which
I mean,
it feels like a product from another era.
Yeah, it's definitely like an old game feel to it.
Yeah.
As far as release.
Right. In all the good ways. Yeah, no,
I'm not hating on. I mean, in a lot of ways, I'll hate on the state of modern video gaming a lot. But at the same time, I'm that guy that loves a good service title. I'm returning to Division 2 in February probably, because they're going to give us new garbage. But I'm going to play it because I love service models.
Are you talking about Heartland?
No.
Okay, great.
Division 2 is actually
Division
getting
2.
content.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I don't know if you guys heard, but Heartland's got delayed.
Who gives a crap about Heartland?
I'm just saying.
But yeah, I love a good. I love a game that keeps me coming back. so it's not me just saying like, oh, all games these days are garbage. This game is good because it did something different. No, it's part of the reason that it is good is because it had a vision and stuck to it.
That's what I was going to say is one of the things we talked about going into it was like, wow, I can't believe that's so soon. And wow, I can't believe they didn't add co-op. And one of the things early on that I said was, I feel like what they did was they said, hey, look, let's do this one thing and let's do it really, really well. And like we're talking about not playing as the other Guardians. You play Star-Lord, and we're going to focus on that. We're going to limit ourselves so that we can do that as best as we possibly could. And I think that paid off in a huge way for them here. And as we've obviously talked about it. So
it's nice to play a game that feels like a cohesive product, because like there is no bloat really in the game, and it's refreshing to get that, because sometimes games operate under the mentality of more is better, full stop, in terms of like just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. And this game was just like, no, we're gonna do what we want to do, and we're gonna do it well, and if it's not for you, okay.
Right.
We don't have to sell the game to literally everybody. That is okay.
Right.
I respect that.
Yeah, absolutely. Kalen, Heartland is like is it mobile, Steven?
It's a BR.
Okay.
It's a BR.
There you go.
There is still a Division mobile game in the works that we know nothing about. There's also some books, we think, but who knows who's even writing those at this point? Probably the intern.
The old house cleaner that.
Yep. the janitor that comes and cleans up Ubisoft Massive or wherever they're working. He just comes in after hours and he has a computer that they let him use where he writes his manuscript. That's how much.
Oh no, it's a typewriter.
It's absolutely a typewriter. Oh man.
Wow. Awesome. Well, before we go, Jeremy, you purchased the Nintendo Online Expansion Pass.
I sure did.
Which has had, some controversy because it adds the Nintendo 64 games, and that's it. But it also raises your online subscription from $20 to $50 a year. You've had it. You've been playing it. What do you think?
Well, right off the bat, the ports are not great. I've seen a couple of visual errors in Ocarina of Time a couple of times now. But, I mean, as far as it costing a little bit more, I'm of the mind still. I mean, when we initially talked about this, I had the same opinion. No, it doesn't have Superman 64, but they're supposed to be bringing a lot more of the games. I think there's only like 7 or 8 games right now that you can actually play.
Yeah, I believe that's
Superman
right.
64
and I'll bring it up. I love it though, but one of my first consoles that I had like a decent amount of games for was N64.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of nostalgia there for me.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a decent start to their selection.
Yeah.
But going back to what I was talking about, initially I can kind of write off that cost as I'm investing in Nintendo's potential to do more of this, more than I'm just paying to be able to use these games once a month.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
And the $20 a year to a $50 a year is not bad. I just personally wish, and you have a good perspective on it, Jeremy, of this is where they're starting, but it's going to grow, which granted it might grow very slowly, but it's going to grow over time, and more is going to come to it. I just wish more came with it, period. We've talked, you haven't even mentioned, Jeremy, you get to play the Happy Home Designer Paradise DLC for Animal Crossing. I can't wait to see what you're going to do with that.
No.
But like, that's such a weird DLC to be the one that is lumped in. I am still holding
very
out
strange.
hope.
I saw it and was just like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
But again, it's like I said, if you look, I bought a Switch probably a year after it came out.
Right.
I love the console. I love the exclusivity of the games that are on that console. But from launch, you could play NES and SNES.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go back to the library that was out when I got the Switch, there was probably only like 10 or 15 Super Nintendo games. There's like 60 now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like a decent number. Granted, it's not all it's not all games that you're going to recognize.
It's not all top
they did a couple
stuff, but
yeah, they did a couple of more obscure ones, but they're fan favorites. So I would just, like I said, I believe in Nintendo enough that I'll invest in that future, and I really, really want to play Ocarina of Time. So it's like, you know what, it's worth it. It's a year. It's not like I'm paying $50 a month.
Yeah, that's
we
true.
pay for Game Pass. That's $120 a year.
Yeah.
Granted, you get a lot with Game Pass. I'm not saying by any means are they similar.
Yeah.
Well, they are similar, but not the same. You get a lot more with Game Pass.
I'm still holding out. I want some clarification about the DLC thing, because Animal Crossing only seems like a weird. Still, just boggles my mind as a weird choice. Like it makes sense, but I also just don't know why it would be the only one. So I'm holding out hope that DLC.
Well, again, that may just be the free DLC for this month.
No, that's a good.
They may change it next month.
That's the thing. If I can get some
it's the big
clarity
question
on
mark
that,
with it.
yeah. Once I have some clarity on that, I might be willing to do it. But like, here's the honest thing. I would like to. I've never really played Ocarina of Time all the way through. I've played Majora's Mask, which that's one that's on that list. That I don't remember if you said it or not. But there's lots that I would like to go back and replay, or in the case of Ocarina of Time, play. But like, I have such a backlog already. When am I going to do that? Like, I might, even if I bought it today, or up my subscription today, it might be 4 or 5 months before I even sit down to think about doing it. So I'm just gonna wait until I have that moment where it's like, you know what, F it, I'm gonna play Ocarina of Time right now. So that's kind of what I'm waiting on, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm glad you're liking it.
Do you see this as something that moving forward they'll hike the price again for the next wave, or is this something where they're trying to set this as the price?
I think this is just the bar.
Yeah.
I really feel, because what do they charge? $10 more if they add GameCube, or $10 more if they add, Wii games?
Oh, I see what you're saying, Steven.
Or I don't see them doing that. I think the hard cap at is it 40 or 50?
It was 50.
50, okay. So 50 a year.
Yeah.
And you get access to full libraries of games on the console.
Yeah.
It's not a bad deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would just be worried.
It's not terrible, but
Ooh,
if it does go up, that's going to be a little bit more worrisome.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that, Steven, of what if when they announce GameCube games.
Right. And that's my thing. I think that this would be smart for them to make it the bar to where, as a way to opt in more people, hey, we're adding these games moving forward, stuff like that. But the worry with Nintendo is that they do have that diehard fan base where there are a lot of people who are just going to buy it because it's Nintendo.
Right.
And so it's that fine line of, you want people to buy into it so they have the funding to do more cool things.
Yeah.
But you don't want everybody to buy into it, because if they do, then Nintendo's going to be like, oh, we can exploit the hell out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Because
You want that balance of the diehards, like me, that want to play the more classic style games, and I think that's why. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really a flip of a coin. If Nintendo wanted to, they could definitely take it to the route of, hey, we could make a lot of money doing this.
right.
But in the past, they haven't shown that to be their kind of driving force, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. That's an interesting question, Steve. So,
It's a big question mark for sure.
yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for our podcast tonight. Thank you for watching and listening. We do appreciate it. Of course, if you enjoyed it, be sure to follow and subscribe on all our different platforms or the platform of your choosing. YouTube, chortlegames.com, Facebook and Twitter, both at Chortle Games, and then twitch.tv/Chortle_games. We are questionable on a stream Thursday night. Typically, we stream Thursday nights, Friday nights, and Saturday nights. We're not sure if we're going to be able to do a stream Thursday night. We've kind of talked about a couple things we could do. Potentially, though, we're going to just be spending time making sure I'm prepared for a Guild Wars participation for Friday. So, again, ExtraLife 2021 is happening Friday, starting around 5 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going for 24 hours, so it'll end Saturday, 5 o'clock Central Standard Time, p.m. again. Of course, if we start a little late, we'll go a little bit longer. We're going to do that full 24 hours. So, chortlegamesextralife.com will get you to our donation page. I put that in the chat earlier, so feel free to go check that out now if you want to maybe get in a pre-donation to get things rolling. But anyway, that's going to be Friday, so it's going to be a lot of content, a lot going on, and we really hope you'll tune in and help us again raise money for Blair E. Batson Children's Hospital here in Jackson. So very, very exciting stuff. Stephen, Jeremy, thank you for joining me on this podcast and talking and playing games and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, as always.
As always. That's
A guest.
I'm sorry, Jeremy.
That's fine. It's fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's no problem.
He's never gonna let me live that
Hey,
down,
I'll
folks.
be at ExtraLife the whole time. So
He is. He's gonna be at ExtraLife the whole time, everybody. So be excited. All right, that's gonna do it for tonight. We'll see you guys later. Bye.
bye, guys.